everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. I just recently got to see the Polka King, which starred Jack Black, and I forget the other guy who starred with him, but he's been in a number of films with Jack, so he's very well known. I just can't for the life of me think of his name. I really like him as an actor, but Jack actually played the role of Jan Levon, who, in fact, was a Polish immigrant, and he worked all these odd jobs, but then he came up with this unbelievable scheme, and he was just so charming and likable and charismatic and warm and friendly and loving, caring, and generous that people fell for it. And I thought, oh, Jan, it's gonna catch up with you. Karma's gonna bite you in the butt. And yeah, it did. His head got too big for his britches. He got an overinflated ego. His wife started getting really angry with him. His mother-in-law knew that something was up the whole time. And it was so funny. I thought, people are so gullible. Are they really gonna buy into this promissory loan thing? But it was really well done. Jack Black, he's just an incredible actor, and I love him, and seeing him in a role that he was obviously made to play, and at the end they have the real Jan the One. And, you had to admire, I mean, granted, Jan did something that was horrible, but he became a better person. He repented of his sins, and there's a lot of moral lesson to be taken from that and ethical context. And I thought, So, I mean, even there was a point where he was happy that all these horrible things were happening to him when karma finally did catch up to him. I'm not going to say what happened, but karma does, just a small spoiler, karma does catch up to Jan. And it ain't pretty. But as far as movies are concerned, I've seen enough of these films to know how they'll start, begin, and end. This one, however, had a happy ending, and we have actual footage of Jan Levon rapping polka. It's so funny. I just absolutely loved it. I'm living a vida loca. Now I'm rapping polka. Go, Jan. Live your dream. But yeah, it's only in America, but I had to say that. It made me laugh, and hearing the polka again actually kind of made me nostalgic, because I come from a background that has a lot of polka in its heritage. So yeah. And just in case you know, whenever I get married, there will be polka, so be warned. Although that would be very weird because, well, yeah, I do have Polish in my background, and I have German in my background, but it's less German, more Polish, less German, and more so Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Scandinavian, and in Britain, all that part of Europe. But as far as movies are concerned, it was predictable. It was good, though. It was excellent. I was compelled the whole way through. It was very interesting. You want the best for Jan, but deep inside you think, oh my gosh, people are really, really easily fooled and so naive and gullible just to believe him at his word. And I wonder what Jan's doing now, because it didn't really go into that. It just said that he's still paying off. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's given away a little bit. But it's a very good movie if you're interested in schemes or scams and nice people who mean well but yet do the wrong thing anyway, then this is the movie for you. I would give it 3 stars. It's not good enough to warrant a 4-star rating, but it's a really excellent biopic that drives home a good message. And it shows a man who is a family man who he wants to help other people. He feels like one of the little guys, and he's an underdog. And you want him to do well. You want him to, you know, go the distance. But there was actually a side of Jan that wasn't so pretty either. It shows that as well. But it's good that it showed all of his facets as a human being rather than just the smiling faced polka playing band leader. But yeah, they gave you a lot of insight into his background and just his home life, and his mother-in-law. Oh my Lord, she was a nightmare. Ooh. I would have said, you know what, honey, I love you, but your mother-in-law is driving me nuts. So I'm sorry, but I can't handle your mother-in-law. We're getting a divorce. Either that or we're moving. And your mother-in-law is sorry, she can't come. But yeah, that would only be in very dire circumstances of primarily and severely so emergency case scenario type of deal. I give it, it's not excellent enough for two thumbs. It's excellent. It's fantastic enough for 3 stars. It's not good enough for 5. 3 is enough. 3 is it's a great film. It's an excellent movie. It's very well done. It's very well shot. You really get a sense of where these characters are coming and the period of time in which it took place, and you thought, who is this guy? I mean, I didn't even know anything about the Polka King until I saw this movie, and it was just out of curiosity. I thought, oh good, I'm glad I watched it. So I learned a little bit something new. And as far as either giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, well, definitely thumbs up, because Jack Black, as I said, he is a consummate actor, and he could play any role. They typecast him as usually obese characters, but it doesn't matter in this case, because he plays a Polish immigrant, and he does quite well. He does the accent in such a excellent way. The reason I say that is because I had a surrogate grandfather who was from Poland, and he spoke perfect English, but he did speak Polish. He spoke Polish and German and English, so he spoke 3 languages fluently. And it's just funny that Jan, his English was impeccable English, but it was still kind of broken English, and it was very funny just to hear the way he would complete some of his phrases. I thought, you know what, when I'm really tired, you can hear the Polak come out. It's so true. And I thought, oh my gosh. Yeah, when I get really, really worn down, the Polak comes out. And people hear it, but it's just hysterical. But it is such a great film, and there's a lot of good humor in it, and there are good lessons to be learned, and seeing Jan struggle and deal with his ego and all this notoriety he's getting, and seeing his empire take off and thinking he's doing it. Well, actually, I think he comes to the grips and realizing, maybe I goofed. I think he has what I call a eureka moment or a light bulb moment, where he does it anyway. You think, oh, how can you be so stupid? Why are you... No, stop. I literally felt like yelling at my screen, even though it was on a small screen. I watched it with a friend of mine. But if you're interested in the Polka King, I would recommend it, definitely. You get to see Jack Black in a different role that we're typically not used to seeing in him. Yeah, well, he's done musical roles before, but this is a little less hardcore than School of Rock, which I think... out of all Jack Black's films, Tenacious D is up there. But Jack Black, my favorite film with him in it is School of Rock, just because that movie is so good. And Jack seems to pick these morally charged films, because School of Rock really taught and drove home a very tremendous lesson in it. And Polka King does the same thing. So it's along the same lines. I think anybody can watch it. I don't think that there's really... The language in it, there are a couple swears if your child is younger than 13. yeah, it might be needed to be censored a little bit, but they probably hear that all the time dealing with other people, so yeah. But if they want to see it, they can see it. It's one of those movies. There really isn't any murder or violence. There's one scene with some sexual overtones. It's not to the point where the characters actually engage in sexual relations, but it's implied. It's very overtly implied. It's the way he's holding her foot and how he's touching her. It's very obvious, but for a child, I mean, it's not objective or that scarring. I don't think it would be something to be contended, really. But if you're very protective of what your children watch, then you probably wouldn't want them to see this, just because of that in and of itself. And a couple swears. There's no violence in it at all. There are some moments of, rage and anger with the mother-in-law. And, of course, Jan gets angry with his son at one point. And you think, oh, yeah, greed is taking over. You see what a monster greed is in this film. And it's just such a fantastic portrayal of what greed can really do. And yeesh. But still, terrific film. I definitely recommend it if you like Jack Black. If you have a child that's younger than 13, don't let them watch it unless they understand the difference between fantasy and reality, and the fact that sometimes people who have good intentions will do bad things, and even though they know they're doing something that's horrendous, then they continue doing it. It's because they think, oh, I'm going to benefit everybody who's involved. No, you're not. You're just making it worse. But it's so, you feel for the guy, and then you see him become redeemed and repent and never do what he did ever again. Although, yeah, he's still paying quite literally for what he did. But other than that, outstanding film. So, live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti.